Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something that, I personally find amusing, and that's how many people out there, they'll talk about my training and they'll talk about what I do or what it is that I promote without really investigating. They have no idea what my training looks like. They only see the heavy lifts or think that the only thing I care about, is squat, bench, and deadlift, but then they don't realize that they actually watched my vlogs or watched what I do, watched my client vlogs, that the majority of my training tends to be geared towards hypertrophy. The majority of the training that I advocate for other people is geared towards hypertrophy. I mean, even look at just that rep work on the bench. Does that look like I'm doing reps powerlifter style there? Or does it look like I'm doing flat back, pause work, controlled, getting a good stretch on the chest, pausing on the chest, making sure my pecs get stretched, doing my pull-ups from a dead hang, no cheating. Like, do you guys see where I'm going here? Not to say I don't do heavy work before all of this, right? Because I advocate starting workouts either heavy or with heavy work or with speed work. And I personally tend to gear towards most of my training, depending on where I'm at in phases, just towards heavy work, right? Get in, do some heavy sets. Do some heavy work, and then we come in behind it and we do all this other work. Same thing. Wide grip incline, pause on the clavicle, right? Get a deep, deep stretch on the chest. Get that stretch. That stretch is important. Okay? That stretch is important. Same thing, you'll see me doing some rows up next. I can row a lot of weight when I want to, but if I'm going to do it real strict and stretch, I bring the weight down a little bit, keep the reps a little higher. Focus on stretching my lats at the bottom. I'm really big on getting that stretch on movements. Lengthened positions of muscles. All right, you really want to take stuff into a stretch if you can. Depending upon the exercise. Some exercises are exceptions, of course. It's like every other tool in your toolbox. Use it correctly. But you know what? Getting those stretches, that's where the muscle growth happens, right? That's really what we want, getting those stretches. Helps with our joint health, builds muscle, right? That's what we're looking for. And that's how most of my training is. Notice most of the stuff here, all this is controlled. This is all controlled work. Everything, every single thing in this video, you're going to see me a bunch of movements all from the same training week. Everything here is 8 reps or more. Some of the stuff is up to 15. So everything in this video is between 8 and 15 reps. Almost all of it's controlled. All of it either has a deep stretch at the bottom or a pause at the bottom, depending on the exercise. Right? This is a stretch movement type exercise, so I'm not really worried about pausing. I'm just trying to really stretch the long head of the tricep there. Right? Trying to get certain types of muscle fibers doing that. Okay. I promote us trying to have a decent body composition. I don't think people need to be ripped if they don't want to be ripped. We should be decently lean. Right? It's just part of fitness. Should have a good balanced, clean diet. Even when we bulk. Same thing, curls. I'm not cheating on these. Now, I do like power curls, and I think they're a good exercise that I use. But in this case, I'm pausing at the bottom. Full lock out of the elbow, lean forward so I can get that without my thigh getting in the way. Going all the way down and pausing in that stretched position. Bringing it up controlled. Bringing the elbows back so that I'm not cheating. All right? Some nice strict curls, some pullovers, and you'll see me do some high bar squats and some RDLs. Now, I do conventional deadlifts every week. I like heavy deadlifts. I do them frequently. Big fan. They're not always my go-to for building all the musculature. I'll do a lot of rows. I'll do a lot of other posterior chain exercises to build the muscles of the deadlift. So I'll do some full range of motion RDLs with a nice good stretch, right? Take them to about an inch off the floor so that we get that deep stretch. Okay. Same thing, the high bar squats you'll see me doing coming up. It's no belt, taking them deep, trying to get them a deep, nice narrow stance so that the quads get a good stretch at the bottom. Just doing some nice leisurely rep work with 3 plates after I do my heavy work. And sometimes I like to do this stuff paused. A lot of times I like to do Olympic squatting with a pause at the bottom. Sometimes I like to do really long pauses, put a weight on there and hold it for 20 or 30 seconds ass to grass and just maintain that stretch. I think it's good stuff. This is how I like to train, all right? This is most of my training. We go real heavy sometimes. You guys will see me come in and do some pretty heavy stuff like 635 deadlift. But that's the heavy work. That only comprises a very, very small amount of our training. My clients also. Our bread and butter is always going to be the rep work, the volume work. All right, this is where we build our strength potential by building that myofibrillar growth, right? That building contractile proteins, getting muscle fibers thicker. All right, that's where your strength potential comes from. Right, that's where it comes from. If we're going to play the long game with it. So again, I really have to wonder when you have people who have these ideas about what I promote or what I do. I think that what I do and what I promote is very different than what people seem to perceive. Of course, then I get people who come over and they really watch the heavy work. And occasionally, I'll get people who come through and go, "Wow, I heard all this smack talk," and then I come through and look at your stuff. You're pulling over 600 pounds as an old man. Watched you do a 5 pause reps with 335 on a bench press, like all of them paused. Heels flat on the floor. No sleeves or any of that nonsense. Just come in and do some nice, strict, heavy ass work. Okay. But we get the potential to do those things by doing this other stuff. It's always heavy work, then pump work, right? That is the name of the game. That's generally what I promote. That's what I believe in. That's what I utilize, what I work with my clients on. So again, people who have these ideas about what I do, and that's funny. I'll get people come through and they're expecting me to be weak or something because they heard that and they're like, "Oh, you're not weak. You're not fat, tiny, or weak like people say." It's like, well, yeah. Why don't you just come investigate first? Look at what I actually promote firsthand. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.